Oh, it's recording.
So at 4:26 a.m., we were watching episode 3.5 of Four-Eyed Monster's blog, and they do the little video blog episodes, and we claim to be like, oh, we'll do a blog a week on our website, and that's really hard to actually keep up with. To put a deadline on things, and then life happens, and to be inspired all the time, and to have your thoughts come together. Sometimes the creative process doesn't adhere to rigid deadlines, and sometimes discipline is the best thing you can possibly do for yourself and for your art, because it forces you to sit down and do something when you really don't want to do it. And so I bugged Chris about this 2 days ago when I found it on MySpace, and I really like what these guys are doing, guy and girl, and I really think that there's something here. That what they're doing is really cool. They're Susan and Aaron, and they're this whole Four-Eyed Monsters thing. And I've been kind of studying how they're marketing and how they're strategizing and how they're getting people to talk about their stuff, and it's grassroots effort. That's what everybody's doing right now. It's like, it's not good enough to just do what you do. Now you got to get what you do out there, and you got to get it seen and get your voice heard, and then the audience decides whether you suck or not, whether they love you or not, and they make it their own, and then it grows. And I'll let Chris tell you what he thought of all this and how he pissed me the fuck off.
I don't know if how I thought about it is the right word for it. I think it's a matter of what it initially made me feel and what it initially made me gut reaction to, and that was more important to get into this place than it was to what it really was about. I think what it really was about was just the moment at where I was and the questions that were being asked by Aaron, and it's 4:30. And the
answer the question. Why did you feel I brought it up and you fought with me? Why did you fight with me?
Because I hate doing documentary stuff.
And I love it.
And you love it. I hate doing documentary stuff, and to cull through 10 years worth of
I think it's important.
Cull through 10 years worth of videotape footage right now when I want to do narratives, whether they be shorts or features or narratives.
And that wasn't what I was saying at all.
No,
number one.
I understand that, but that's how it came across.
And number two, you're the one who set the weekly blog deadline, by the way. Not me.
They're more guidelines than they are rules.
Guidelines? You set up an expectation for the people who like our site.
Yes, and I fully intended to do a blog a week, but then the lovely Foxes on a Kayak here took over.
Well, life happens.
Yes, so I've been focused on the Foxes, and I've been working on that and dealing with planning that and making sure that it happens with no money. That the last thing I was thinking about was doing a blog. And so when you brought up this site and you brought up the documentary, it just irritated me to no end. But sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. But ultimately it got me to a point where I could sit back and think about what you were saying and think about what the reality of it was and go, okay, well, how do we go about doing this so that it does show us off in any light? Because better to be seen in any light than not to be seen at all. And listening to their blog just now about how stuck they are, and knowing that we're not the only ones that get stuck, and that we are a similar version of these people, but different enough that we're not going to be in competition with one another, that we can work together and help each other to get one step closer to where you want to be, led me to feel that Aaron was right in saying we need to promote ourselves, we need to videotape ourselves and blog and do all that crap even when we don't want to, even in our ugliest moments, hence being videotaped at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, because ultimately it's about creating a fan base and creating a conversation and reaching out to people and connecting with people. So if we can be honest, being honest in a blog at this moment and leaving our guts out there and daring to be vulnerable is more important than looking good and being polished and being funny and witty and entertaining. I think that now more than ever, entertainment is being honest and putting out your reality, you know. A lot of people create images and marketing strategies based around a persona. And sure, it's them, but it's, you know, if they don't show themselves in the down times and in the, you know, frustrated, pissed off moments where it isn't so easy, then you're setting up a false expectation for people, the way that Hollywood, with their crazy diets and their plastic surgery and then claiming they're naturally thin and they're naturally perfect, sets up women to feel shitty about themselves. So then you're like, as an artist, I can't do that. I can't say, oh yeah, I'm perfect all the time and my ideas flow like water and I just sit and it all comes. That's putting out a false expectation that people are going to latch on.
Well, at the same time, you also have to think about the fact that for the last 2 weeks, we've been more focused on the actual process of making the movie beyond the Foxes and beyond the blogs. We've been working on getting You Are Here out there to festivals, getting it promoted more, and working on a budget for 0 Hour.
Yeah, so why aren't we filming snippets of that? Like you filling out forms.
That's what I'm saying.
Doing stuff like, hello, we're working. And maybe people would respect us a little more if they saw how hard we work.
Exactly. Instead of going, well, where are they? They've not been online for 2 weeks.
They must be fucking off and watching movies and playing all the time.
Well, we were watching movies, but
not all the time.
Not all the time. We were watching movies to a certain degree to clear our mind of budget concerns and where the other cut of the short film is going, and how do we pull off a short film with no money and foxes in a lake and kayaks, you know? It's the logistics of pulling together a team of, 20, 30 people to put something together for no money that makes you go, yeah, a blog isn't important. At least at that moment it did for me. But now I'm realizing, gee, that was stupid. I should have been videotaping all that so that way everybody sees, like Aaron just said, how hard we work, because that's important. Seeing us at our downtime at 4:30 in the morning when we really should be sleeping and we're not, means that we're finally getting creative to a point where we can do the blog again, and we can ironically finish a blog about not being able to finish a blog, I think. I think that also, but absolutely funny. It also speaks about what you actually wanted the blog to be about, which is where we are now and where we're going. Exactly, because that's what the purpose was. The first blog was just to get you guys interested and show that we have a sense of humor about ourselves. We're not going to take ourselves seriously, but we are very serious about what we do, and to show where we were in the last 10 years, which was kind of in a place of serious non-seriousness that will only get you so far. But the fact that in 10 years we've had more than a handful of people, probably more than 24 people come in and out of our lives, some, literally overnight, and some over the course of that 10 years, that have been with us through all of this and gave up on what we were doing and what they were doing because it was just too hard. And that we're still here and we're still going through it, regardless of what anybody thinks or says, to me shows exactly what sort of commitment level we have. Even when we don't want to blog, we're about to blog. And even when we don't want to do a budget at 5 in the morning or 2 in the morning or 10 in the morning, I'm still up doing the budget because it's necessary. Or cutting together a recut of a short film that we were unhappy with last year. That, as Aaron put it, was very boring last year, and this year it's actually getting a little more excitement. But it takes sometimes 6 months, it takes sometimes a year to get perspective on these things. And Aaron said it earlier today when we were talking, that the things that we are doing, everything we're doing, living, working, making movies, working out, me and my health getting better, it all takes time. Good things take time. If it doesn't take time, then it's not going to last, and it's not going to be something that's worth your time. So it's important for us to realize that, 10 years is a long time to be working at this, but you hear people like Dane Cook, and you hear people like, anybody out there right now who's making films or doing the entertainment thing that is achieving a certain level of success says, oh, well, I've been doing this 20 years, I've been doing this 15 years, I've been doing this 10 years. You never hear, well, I've been doing it a year and now I'm a big star. You hear those stories and then you're like, well, where's that actor now? Nowhere. Where's that director now? Nowhere. It's the thing. They have that limited run of success, I feel, and then it just fades away. And there's the dog snoring.
I know.
He's snoring through the entire thing.
Even when we try to take ourselves seriously.
I've bored the dog with my rambling.